Hey guys, welcome back to another knife discussion. And before you on the table, as you can see, is none other than the Spyderco Dragonfly 2. And this is a knife that's probably been reviewed to death. And there's certainly been a lot of positive reviews and a lot of good things said. And today I wanted to take kind of a different approach at this knife and talk about too much of a good thing. So I've had this knife for probably a year or more now. This version is obviously the VG10 plain edge satin. There's serrated in a few different colors, but black FRN handles and so forth. But anyhow, so I've had this knife for probably over a year now, and the number of times that I've carried it, I can probably count, probably just on my hands. I mean, there's probably only been maybe 10 times, handful of times that I've actually carried this knife. So let's talk about the specs real quick, and then I kind of want to share my thoughts with you on why this is too much of a good thing. And by a good thing, I mean small and lightweight. So overall length, about 5.5 inches, blade length 2.25 there, and then with the actual cutting edge about 1.8 inches. Obviously it's a full flat grind, leaf shape, satin, plain edge, so on and so forth, FRN handles. The weight, as reported by Spyderco, is about 1.2 ounces. And I'll get out my scale here in a minute as we compare it to a few other knives. But kind of the intended use of this knife is an everyday carry in what you'd have to assume is a very anti-knife climate. So anyhow, here is the knife in my hand. As you can see, it doesn't quite fit all the way in there, and that's if I'm choked up using the choil here. If I go back to a normal grip position, get about 2.5 fingers on there, not quite 3, but this is how it fits in my hand, and my hand is XL glove size, so that might give you an idea right there. But anyhow, so this knife was intended to be as light and small as possible while still giving you a good locking mechanism, still using excellent materials. Again, VG10, very, very well regarded EDC type of steel there, and sharpens well, takes on a very keen edge, excellent blade steel. Lock back has been proven, I don't know for how long, but lockback certainly works well. It's certainly going to keep this knife in the open position for whatever tasks you can throw it at. I mean, knife isn't big enough to really get you into too much trouble, and as long as you're not dumb, you're never going to have that lock fail on you. So anyhow, things that it does well, again, it's very small, it's very lightweight, it's excellent for environments that require it to be as discreet as possible. You have the wire pocket clip here, which again makes it even more discreet. Excellent jimping, probably some of the best I've seen on the Spyderco knives. Really lets you get down and do some detailed work. I'll try to keep this in frame here. But again, it's so small and it's so lightweight that it's almost a pain in the ass. So here's an example. There have been times where I've carried this knife and I wasn't sure if I still had it on me. And by that, I mean, you're walking, it disappears in your pocket, quote unquote, and you have to check to make sure that it's still on your pocket and hasn't caught on something and been taken out, because you wouldn't be able to tell, because you honestly can't tell that it's even in your pocket. And perhaps some of you guys think that knives are a nuisance when you can feel it in your pocket, but for me, everything that I'm used to, I like to know that it's still there, especially when you look at some of these higher dollar knives that we carry. So here it is. Let's pull up the scale here, take a look at what it's showing on my scale. Hopefully this shows up. Alright, so we are set to ounces. Put the knife on here. 1.2 ounces, same as reported by Spyderco. Excellent. Let's take a look at the knives that are moving just slightly up in the size class. Here's a Delica. Please excuse the custom handles. I'm going to put it in the middle here, a little out of frame. 2.9 ounces. So, as far as anyone would ever tell carrying or using the knife, it's about an ounce heavier. and my custom scales here might be a little bit heavier than you normally find. Let's take a look at a Benchmade 940, 2.75 ounces, again a 940. And let's take a look at a mini grip Tillion. This one does have custom carbon fiber scales, so it might be just a smidgen lighter than the normal with your plastic handles, but 2.7 ounces. So as we can see, we have a few varying weights. You know, obviously the Dragonfly is by far the lightest, but again, I would state that it's so light and so small that it's, again, kind of a pain in the ass. It's taken something that's a good idea and turned it into something that's too good of an idea. So let's do a few size comparisons, and I want to talk about the actual usage of these knives. So here we go. Got a mini grip. You've got the Dragonfly. We've got a Delica. Yeah, this one is the Delica. Emerson Wave, which will add a tiny bit of weight. Let's go way in the back if I can keep this in frame. We've got a 940. Here we are. And all of these knives are, you know, double in weight, but really it's an ounce, maybe 2 ounces heavier at most. But what's the trade-off? What's the benefit that you get from that extra ounce? Mini grip. Let's start with that. This is how this one fits in my hand. Gets almost all the way to a hand-filling size there. Allows me to get a good grip on it. It's got some nice jimping as well. Then the axis lock, very fast, very easy to use, one-handed deployment. Excellent benefit. Price point, oh, I don't know what the Dragonfly is going for these days, but about double the price, double the weight, but I think it offers so much more utility. Mini grip there. So let's take a look at the Delica. The Delica 4. This one also uses a lock back. It doesn't have a choil for you to choke up on, but you can kind of get in there, even with my big hands, if you really need to do some detail work. But look at the fit in hand again. This one gets all the way in my extra large hands. Really nice strong tip, also VG10 steel. But this one, it's still lightweight. It still functions very well in you know, non-knife conducive environments, but you just get so much more purchase and you have better control over the knife. Price point, maybe 20-30 bucks more than the Dragonfly, but again, it's not one, it's one where you'll feel it slightly in your pocket and you won't have to check every 5 minutes to see if you've lost your knife. So I feel that the Delica 4 here is, you know, again, a much more beneficial size than the Dragonfly 2 here. So, you know, maybe this is just for guys with big hands. Maybe if you have small hands, this is, you know, the next best thing since sliced bread. I don't know, but anyhow, I would surmise that this one is a much more useful size, and with the Emerson Wave, if you got that model, again, that's an added benefit. Man, this one's kind of a stretch to even talk about it, but again, Benchmade 940, very lightweight, especially for the size. Price point, probably triple on the used market, but again, let's take a look at my hand. It's a hand filling, it feels great in the hand. It has some decent jimping up here. This one you can't really choke up on very much, but again, it's just such a better size, one-handed use. So anyways, I know that there's a lot of people that really love this knife, and they love it for those reasons that are mentioned. Very discreet, very lightweight, strong, excellent steel, very sharp, detailed work. But for me, for my uses, and just in practice, I just haven't carried it. It's just too small, too lightweight. I'm always checking my pocket, not sure if I lost the thing, but perhaps it would function very well in a emergency kit. You know, sometime where you might need something small, cut bandages, things like that. You know, while I was thinking about it, I don't actually have any Swiss Army knives, but I mean, if you're in such an anti-knife climate, you need something this small, this lightweight, why not just step it down another notch and go for a Swiss Army knife on your keychain? I mean, I don't have one. I grabbed my wife's for this video. I got her a nice pink one. But hell, I guess I could get a pink one. But you pull this bad boy out, you have a small enough cutting edge to get the same job done, and this could obviously, the locking mechanism is going to be a huge benefit, better ergonomics. Perhaps they're not even comparable, but the idea is that if you have to resort to something this small in order to carry a knife, you might as well step it down and go for something that's even more friendly to those who might be nervous or scared, or again, the term sheeple comes to mind. But anyways, just something to think about. I'm sure there are lots of people that are going to stand up and, you know, defend the merits of something this small and this lightweight. So I'll put on my flame suit now and you guys can fire away. Any comments, questions, let me know. Again, these are just kind of my thoughts. Perhaps you've been looking at this, perhaps you're looking for a different opinion as to whether or not you should get this knife. Great knife, again, proven track record, but if you need something this small, check out the Delica, check out a mini grip, check out the 940, check out something that is just a little bit bigger. It's going to give you more control, fit better in the hand, and yeah. Anyways, something to think about. Take care.